I've made no secret of the fact that I really enjoy Warzone Mobile, but Activision have done what I think might be the most unethical thing I've ever seen a large games publisher do with Season 3 of the game, enough that it kind of puts me off wanting to play it at all. Now, in terms of gameplay, I still think Warzone Mobile is pretty spectacular. I might be fairly lucky that I've got a device that runs it. Acer sent me the ROG Phone 8, and it just happens to be one of the best devices to play the game on, which is absolutely fantastic. They didn't sponsor this video, but they did send me the phone for free. I should point that out. But yeah, I've been having an absolute blast of it. I think it's really fun. I think in Season 3, they've gone too far with the bots. Like, games are just a bit too easy now. I think in this game I ended up getting something like 22 kills, which, if you know me, that's pretty ridiculous. But there's something to be said for having a Warzone type experience where normal players can do really well. Normal players can have that kind of thrill of getting high kill games and getting wins really, really regularly. I think there's a lot to that, and I kind of think if they can make bots a little bit smarter, it's a pretty solid way to go for future Battle Royale games and maybe the main modes of Warzone, but I'll talk about that in another video later this week. This video is about something that I only discovered today about Warzone Mobile. So when the game launched, I heard from a lot of people that it wasn't available in Belgium or Netherlands, and anyone who lives in Europe will know that that's almost certainly because it's got some element of gambling in it. And I just didn't see that in the game. I thought it was really strange that we had the normal Warzone bundle store where you could buy bundles, but that's not gambling, that's allowed in Belgium. But for some reason this was banned. And in the kind of pre-release materials, they did talk about this system called the Keep, where basically there would be a set of items and it would be like loot boxes. You spend a little bit of money, and I thought maybe you could spend something that you'd get in game to be able to have a chance of getting one of these items. Well, the Keep is in the game now with Season 3, and it is so much worse than I expected. So, what is the Keep in Warzone Mobile? What is this feature that Activision care about so much that they're willing to put it in at the cost of not being able to release their game in Belgium and the Netherlands, and maybe some other countries? I know them too for sure. Well, if you look at the main menu, you can just see it on the left here. The Keep Legendary Draw looks fairly innocuous, and when you load it up, the first time you load it up, you actually get this little video trailer. And this is something that, as far as I know, Warzone has never really done for any of their bundles, actually releasing these kind of high quality CGI trailers, showing off the operator skin, showing off the gun, showing off some of the weapon effects, just for a single bundle. I know they do the trailers for the battle passes at the beginning of each season, but this seems a bit over the top. And I've always heard that these CGI trailers are one of the most expensive things that Call of Duty spends money on when they're making the games. So it seems like, you know, they're really serious about this. That trailer is just for that one bundle. That's the Soul Reaper Keep, and then there's another one called the Digital Demon Keep. And same thing, the first time you look at it, you'll get this special trailer that is incredibly loud, by the way. I've turned the volume down for you, but it's incredibly loud. Just showing off the gun, showing off the operator skin, and kind of weirdly freezing at the end of it for some reason. I'm not sure why it does that. Anyway, you're back out of that. And now you can see with both of these, not quite bundles, with these keeps, as they say, you've got a group of different items. So you've got 10 items in there. You've got at the top the two things that I think people would agree these are the things that you might be interested in. Like in a bundle, there's normally an operator skin and a blueprint that you might care about, and then a bunch of other guff that you don't care about. The two things you care about in this is the Soul Reaper M4 blueprint. Bit weird it's an M4 blueprint because the M4 has not been meta for a long while, but you can look there. If you shoot people with it, some little red skulls spin out of people. That's kind of it. And then, oh, and I think it's a bit animated. You can see some of the red on the actual gun is kind of animated there. And then you've also got this operator skin. Looks kind of cool. You know, it's a kind of different design to most of the other characters in Warzone. And then you've got a bunch of other stuff. So you've got a bunch of other blueprints. These don't have the special effect with the red skulls coming out of them. There's a FSS Hurricane, Kastov 762, a P890, which seems really strange because that's not something I can imagine most people putting into their loadouts, but okay. The dual camas, and then there's a charm, an emblem, a large decal, and a weapon sticker. And similar thing for the other keep where you've got the weapon that you might want, and this one makes a kind of PNG of a purple skull appear. That's a Lachman sub. Again, slightly weird choice. And then you've got the operator skin. This one, to me, looks a lot like a lot of other operator skins that have been in the game before, but oh well. And then you've got TAC M blueprint. And again, these don't have any of the special effects. These won't make the purple skull appear. You've got an FTAC Siege, which I haven't heard anyone talking about that gun for a while. You've got a UTV skin for the little buggy. And you've got a knife skin for the combat knife. And then you've got a charm, an emblem, a large decal, and a weapon sticker. So if these were bundles, you wouldn't really think much of it. If it was a 2,400 COD points bundle, you'd just think, okay, that's pretty standard for Warzone these days, and you'd get all of that stuff included. But it's not that. These aren't bundles. You can see there, the price looks to be 40 COD points. And I can imagine someone that's maybe doesn't really understand this stuff very well, or someone, maybe like a kid would look at this and think, oh, 40 COD points? That's amazing. Get all of this stuff for way cheaper than the 2,400 COD points it would normally cost. But that 40 COD points will only get you one thing. And of course you don't get to choose which thing. And this is why this is banned in some countries. Because that 40 COD points will get you a chance of getting one of these things. And of course, most of you can see where this is going. You're going to get one of the stickers or the emblems or something like that. If you look at the Keep info, they have to publish these things. You can see the chance of getting the weapon sticker is 29%. So that's nearly a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to get that. And then to get the decal is 28%, the emblem is 11%, and the charm is 10%. So all of those added up, 10 and 11 is 21, plus 28 is 49, plus 29, what's that, 78? So you've got a 78% chance that when you spend those 40 COD points, you're going to get something off the bottom row. And then adding the second row onto that as well, where there's all these blueprints that are basically just guns that you probably don't want in your loadout with a bit of red on them, that takes you up to just over 98%. So you've got a 98% chance of either getting a cosmetic that you probably don't want or a blueprint that you don't want. The things that you really want, you can see up there, the operator skin is 1.25% chance, and then the actual blueprint with the fancy little red skulls that fly around is a 0.08% chance. That's incredibly low, and if you look at the other one, it's exactly the same probabilities of getting things. Now, you might think, okay, that's still not too bad. You're just spending 40 COD points a try, and once you get each thing, it removes it from the pool. You can't get duplicates in this, so then you've got a higher chance of getting the other thing. So that might not sound too bad. You might think, okay, there's 10 things there, 40 COD points a pop, 400 COD points, and you'll end up with everything. That's not how it works. That's not at all how this works. You'll spend your 40 COD points and you'll almost definitely get something from the bottom 2 rows. Almost definitely, really, the bottom row. And then rather than having to spend 40 COD points for the next one, where you'll have a better chance of getting something better because you've already removed one of the bad things, the next one is going to cost you 100 COD points. So now you've spent 140 and you've probably just got 2 items from the bottom row. The third one is 160. The fourth is 350. Now at this point, you've spent 650 COD points and you probably have a charm, an emblem, a weapon decal, and a sticker. Things that I'm almost certain nobody wants. Now some people will look at that and think, oh, that sucks. I just spent like 5-6 quid. What a waste of money. This is stupid. I'm going to stop. But there's going to be a bunch of people, the people that Activision are counting on, that will do what I think is called the gambler's fallacy, where they'll think, well, now I might as well keep going. I've already spent 650 COD points. I might as well keep going so that money's not wasted to try and get the things that I wanted in the first place. The next one, the fifth one, which will definitely, if you've got all of the rubbish stuff on the bottom row, will definitely at least get you something on the second row, probably a P890 blueprint, is another 650 COD points. So the same amount as what you've spent to get the first 4 things. So now you're up to 1,300 COD points spent, and you've probably got all those 4 things on the bottom row and a P890 blueprint. The one after that, the 6th one, is 1,100 COD points, taking you up in total to 2,400 COD points, which is how much a normal entire bundle would cost. So you've now spent as much as you would on a normal bundle, and you've probably got the 4 things from the bottom row and then 2 blueprints that you didn't want. The one after that is 1,600 COD points, taking you up to a total of 4,000. The one after that is 2,500 COD points just for one turn on this, and that'll take you up to 6,500 COD points spent. So that's more than like, what, 2 and a bit bundles? And you've almost definitely, just statistically, you've almost definitely got all the things on the first 2 rows, all those blueprints that you don't want and you'll probably never use, and all of those cosmetic items that you probably don't want and you'll never use. To make sure you now definitely get one of the things you actually wanted. So either this M4 Soul Reaper blueprint, which makes some little red skulls come out, or the operator skin, you're now going to have to spend 3,500 COD points on that next run. 3,500 when a normal blueprint bundle in Warzone is 2,400. So for that 3,500, that will have taken you up to 10,000 COD points spent. And then to get the final one, so you might still not have got the actual thing you want. Say if you were going for the operator skin, maybe you ended up getting the blueprint and now you just need the operator skin. For the final one, you need to spend 4,800 COD points just for that one turn. So the price of 2 bundles, taking your total up to 14,800 COD points spent. That's absolutely obscene. At no point anywhere on this screen, and in the keep info too, at no point does it say anywhere there that all of this together is going to cost 14,800 COD points, because that's such an insanely huge number, most people would instantly be put off. It doesn't say at all here how much each one is going to end up costing. It does say after each turn the COD point cost to purchase the next turn will increase, but it doesn't say how much. I think a reasonable person would think, oh, maybe the first one's 40 and the second one's 50 or something like that. But no, you would end up spending 14,800 COD points. If you wanted to buy that many COD points, you can see there, you can't even buy a bundle that big. It's 13,000 for the biggest bundle, which will cost you £85. And then you would have to buy another 2,400 COD points bundle on top of that in order to have enough to buy everything. So you're looking at spending about £100 for each of these bundles. That to me seems absolutely obscene. Like, there's no way they can justify it. I know in one of my videos last week, I was using the Kongfist blueprint, which is something you can get in the main version of Warzone, where if you buy all 4 of the Godzilla-themed bundles, you unlock this special melee, which is like this Kongfist. And it's silly. It's obviously not worth buying 4 bundles for. And to make it clear, I didn't spend my money on that. I'm lucky enough to be a Call of Duty creator where sometimes they send me free COD points. So just, message me on Discord and say, hey, do you want some COD points? And I'll be like, yeah, please. And sometimes, they'll give me the Battle Pass. They'll give me the Black Sail version of the Battle Pass. So I don't have to buy the Battle Pass. So I'm not using my COD points on that. I had a bunch left over and I really love Godzilla. So I bought all of the bundles using those free COD points. I would never, ever encourage anyone else to ever spend their real money on these things. To be honest, I wouldn't ever encourage people to spend money on the bundles. I'm a big supporter of the idea that developers need to be paid for their work. People should pay for Call of Duty. People should pay the developers money for their games and, the publishers by a kind of extension of that. But I still think the bundles are not a good value proposition. Spending, 2,400 COD points or like 20 quid on one of those bundles, I personally wouldn't want to do that. I don't think it's worth it. The only reason I get bundles is because I get them for free. This seems like a whole leap ahead of that in terms of how terrible it is. £100 for these items seems absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that they're hiding how much it's going to cost until you're already sort of in too deep, until you've already spent a bunch of money, just feels really scummy to me. Like, this doesn't seem defensible in any way as far as I can tell. And I haven't even told you the worst part about this yet. The worst part is that if you look at every single one of these items, you can see in the bottom right, it says designed for Warzone Mobile. And do you know what that means? You can't use these in the normal version of Warzone. If you wanted to get this skin, you're going to probably have to pay £100 for it, or maybe £85 or whatever. You're going to have to spend a lot of money to get it. And then you can't even use it in the console or PC versions of Warzone. That seems absolutely ridiculous to me. Like, it's already a terrible value, but that makes it even worse. Now, I think, obviously, the worst thing about this is that the only people who are going to spend this kind of money, the only people who are going to spend £100 to get one of these are people who are too vulnerable, people who are too ignorant of what's happening, who get trapped in that gambler's fallacy of, oh, I've already spent a bunch of money and haven't got what I wanted. It will be wasted if I don't keep going. Those sort of people are the only people who are going to spend this money. So Activision have kind of, in a calculated way, thought, Okay, some of our audience are people like that. Some of our audience are people who are gonna make poor financial decisions. Some of our audience are the sorts of people that are going to start spending money on this and get trapped into it. This isn't an expensive item that some people might think is worth it. I can kind of get that. You know, if you have some millionaire and they're looking at something and they're thinking, oh, okay, like this bundle's £100, we're going to make it so rich people might think that it's worth it to them and they can buy it. That I don't have as much of a problem with. The problem I have with it is that this is tricking people into spending a huge amount of money, and it's so obvious that the trick is essential to it. The trick is, this looks like it's only going to be 40 COD points, and you've got a chance of getting something that looks kind of cool, and then eventually you're going to get to a point where you've already spent a bunch of money and you still don't have the thing you want, so you're going to have to keep on going. That to me is really terrible, and that to me is kind of enough to make me want to stop streaming Warzone Mobile, because I don't want to be associated with this kind of business practice. So as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe and turn your notifications on for more videos. Probably not about Warzone Mobile, to be honest, but I've been playing a bunch of other stuff like PUBG and Fallout 76 and Manor Lords lately. So subscribe to the channel and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.